Welcome to the Media Pros Show, the show that gives you quick, simple tips to grow your business by serving as an expert in the media. Learn how to get all the TV, podcast, radio, magazine, newspaper, and online interviews and media appearances that you want, and learn how to be great in those interviews and media appearances. I'm Dr. David Geyer, orthopedic surgeon, sports medicine specialist, and media health and wellness expert. I've said many times on this show that I'm the medical expert for two local news stations here in Charleston, South Carolina, ABC News 4 and Fox 24. And I do interviews in other parts of the country remotely by Skype or Zoom. So needless to say, I've done a lot of TV interviews. Before COVID-19 started, with ABC, I was on basically once a week in studio every Tuesday afternoon on their 5 o'clock show. I would, go for a 2 to 4 minute interview where one of the hosts would interview me about some medical topic. When I first started doing that, I was so excited getting a regular gig on the local news. I was so excited that I wanted to look great. And I knew the TV station, they didn't have a makeup artist, but I knew that there was access to one because I had done their local interest morning show a couple times. And in the information they send you, they say, hey, if you want to do your makeup for the TV appearance, then just call this number or email this number. And it's $35, this makeup artist. She comes out, does your makeup. I decided I'm going to be on every Tuesday. I'm hoping to get bigger and better things from that. So I'll use this makeup artist. But then I contact her and she can't come out on Tuesday afternoon, so I have to go without it. And I like to, after I do TV interviews especially, go back and see how it turned out as often as I can. And one of the points I remember in those first few interviews was that I looked pale and washed out. And that was because I wasn't wearing makeup. And whether or not, and this is true for men and women, whether or not you have dark shadows under your eyes or blemishes on your face, makeup can still be really important. You have to remember that in the TV studio, they've got those lights everywhere that are really bright. So if you don't wear makeup, you're going to look pale and washed out compared to the host who definitely is wearing makeup. Now, I'm not going to go through all the ins and outs of putting on makeup for a TV appearance, especially for women. You probably know way more about putting on makeup than I do. But TV makeup's a little different than makeup you wear just going out in public. So if you're going to be doing a lot of TV interviews, find somebody with a background in TV makeup for specific tips. That can be really, really helpful. But even for men, there are a couple basic points. And I want to give you the advice that I got from my media coach when I started doing those interviews weekly for ABC. I was working with a media coach in New York City, and it was advice she gave me. She would watch the video of each week, and after almost every one of the early ones, she would ask, were you nervous? And I'd tell her, no, I do focus on things she would tell me to fix or words she would tell me to eliminate. And sometimes I'd be overly concentrating on that, but nervous was not really part of the issue. I don't really get nervous going on TV. And I asked her why she thought I was nervous. And she said, well, it looks like you're sweating. Well, what she was seeing was this shine on my face, my forehead, my cheekbones, my nose from the bright lights. And what that shine was from was oils that were on my face. So what you can do, this is advice that she gave to me, and I do it pretty much before every TV appearance. There are wipes that you can get. You can find them at a drugstore. You can find them on Amazon or something. They basically come in packs like this, and basically you take one and basically wipe the oil off your face. Can be very, very helpful. Then you can go one step further and get a powder. Basically have some makeup artist find the right shade from you. Take a powder and put it on areas that tend to have that shine, the oils. Even though you've wiped them off, the powder can take that off. So for me, that's forehead, that's my nose, and those are my cheekbones. That alone can make you look tremendously better. And again, if you want to do more extensive or get more extensive advice about really specifics with the makeup, about foundation and concealer and all that kind of thing, talk to somebody with a background in TV makeup. Now, if you're lucky enough to get an interview in a bigger market, New York, LA, even on local news, those stations are going to have a makeup artist. So if you're there, definitely take advantage of that. They know the studio, they know the set, they know the lights, they know where the shadows and everything are. So they will do your makeup in a way that makes you look fantastic. But even doing remote interviews by Zoom or Skype, and I do tons of those now. We're just starting to get back in the studio after the COVID-19 pandemic, even though the pandemic's not over. Just now getting back in the studio, but I still do a lot of interviews remotely. And I'll tell you that it's probably a good idea to do at least that basic makeup there as well. If you're doing a remote interview and you do them the way I've talked about, and maybe will again in the future, with the external camera or external DSLR camera with a microphone, and most importantly for the purposes of this discussion, 2 lights behind the camera or behind the computer at 45-degree angles shining on you, no lights behind you. If you have an open window, close it, put curtains or something so there's no light behind you. But what you may have when you do all that equipment is you may have a little bit of that shine on your face, so the oil wipe and the powder may be helpful. Try it out, do a few Zoom meetings, but do it with that equipment and see if you need a little bit of makeup. One of the things I do with the clients I work with one-on-one is that we find a TV show in your market that might help you grow your practice and your business, that has a target audience of viewers that could be your ideal customer or client or patient. Then we pitch one of the producers for that show in a way that makes that producer want to interview you. Then we take steps to make you do really well in that interview, including tips to help you look great on camera. Remember, on this show, I'm not giving you specific advice, not business advice, financial, legal, medical, or any other kind of advice. If you have specific questions about your practice or about your business, talk to a specialist in that area. But if you want to do really well in your interviews and use those interviews to hopefully get more clients, more customers, and more patients, if you want to become the go-to expert in your industry, in your town, or in your region, I can help you become a media pro. Go to MediaProsCoaching.com. Sign up for a free 30-minute strategy session where we talk about your practice or your business and what you're trying to achieve, what goals you have, and then talk about some simple steps you can use to get started getting some easy interviews to help you start growing that business or practice. While you're there, get your free copy of the Media Pros Interview Checklist, a simple list of things that you really should think about before every interview, TV or otherwise, that can make that interview go great and help you get interviewed by that station, by that producer over and over and over again. This is a process, but always remember the words of the legendary comedian Steve Martin. When anybody would ever ask him how they could become a stand-up comedian, he always had the same response, and it's profound as it pertains to you doing media interviews. Be so great they can't ignore you.